Thank you, David Schuster. Jim Cramer is the host of CNBC's Mad Money, and Ed Schultz is a radio talk show host. I want to go to Cramer first of all. Jim, do you say we didn't fight this war? In 91, we went after Saddam Hussein after he grabbed Kuwait, grabbed its oil. You say this war, these two wars in a row, are not about oil?
I feel, and I have to tell you, anyone who reads the book knows that what he said on today's show is wrong. He really directly says the authorities were about oil, which is the president. I thought that this was, and believe it's about the global war on terror. I think these are ideologues in the White House, and they were fighting terrorism, I think mistakenly thinking it was in Iraq. But I've got to tell you something, Chris. It just really bugs me that I have to criticize Greenspan, because Greenspan did give us 20 years of pretty good growth. It's a shame that the focus is that throwaway oil comment, because he did a pretty good job.
Well, you only get in trouble in Washington for telling the truth, Cramer.
Well,
and he has now spoken the truth, and you don't like it. That's what you don't like.
I don't like it.
It's not that you disagree with it. You don't like the fact he spilled the beans.
But how about this? I'm defending a Republican president on your show. I mean, holy cow.
Okay, let me go to Ed Schultz. Ed Schultz, this war has been accused from the beginning. I was over in Berlin covering the changes over there after the fall of the Iron Curtain back in '91, and everywhere in Bonn, Germany, there are big signs: kein Blut for oil, no blood for oil. And the liberals in our country, the conservatives, everybody said, no, this is about something else. This is about fighting aggression. Is it about oil? Greenspan says it is.
Absolutely, it's about oil, and I hope that Alan Greenspan can sleep at night. Did he know this before the invasion? Back in 2003, he's a man of influence. His opinion is revered around the world. He's a guy who, I'm sitting out here in the Midwest, when Alan Greenspan says something about the economy, everybody pays attention to him. Maybe he doesn't realize that people listen to him, but he really would have derailed their sale job on the American people if he had said, well, it's not about WMD, it's actually about oil reserves, and now look what we've got. We are stuck now with a generational footprint in Iraq. More billions of dollars are going to be spent on all this. It's too bad. It's sickening.
You know, Ed, the old, not to disparage it, but the old left, you would do Marxist analysis of just about everything in history. Sam Beer, I think, believed this, the historian, that just about everything can be interpreted as economics, self-interest, if you will. Do you believe that this war, well, all wars are about economics? What do you think?
Well, I think that maybe past wars were about economics and control, but this one's about religion, this one's about ideology, and this one could be a struggle for power in the world. I mean, the footprint we have now is a staging ground for something that could be much broader with the Iranians. But what Greenspan, if he had come out and said that earlier, Chris, maybe it would have led to the road to diplomacy at a different level from what we've seen right now. This has all been done with a strong fist and get out of the way. And what about the 4,000 lives? What about the billions of dollars? And what about the future, which is really tough for the American people to stomach now?
The problem, Jim Cramer, is that if you do admit that this was economically driven, this war, it was about our need for gasoline in this country, then you have to get down to the marginal reality that each life that was lost, each limb that was lost, each life that was ruined and changed irrevocably in the wrong direction was for oil.
I can't go there. And by the way, I date myself. I took that Sam Beer course, and that was during the period when I was studying Marxism as an actual undergraduate. And I don't buy it for this particular case. I don't buy it because Colin Powell talked about the need to be able to stop terrorism and the military threat. Condoleezza Rice talked about the mushroom cloud. Now, you could just say it was all made up. I think that they were wrong, but I certainly don't think they made it up.
Okay, let me ask you, Jim, first, would we have fought this war if it was like the Chaco War, something way down in South America between some country like Bolivia and some issue over land and aggression between Bolivia and Peru or somewhere? When we went to war because of the invasion of Kuwait, which is really the beginning of this war, you're saying that had nothing to do with oil? It would have been we were just opposed to aggression.
I'm saying post 9/11, there were a lot of different people who were very good. This war, I had a show with my partner.
So you said the first war was about oil, but the second one wasn't?
Yes. I think post 9/11, the paradigm changed, and they believed. Again, I'm not saying whether they were right or wrong, but they genuinely believed in the White House that Saddam was part of the vast conspiracy that brought down 9/11, the vital, horrible enemy. And it turns out that he wasn't. And that's why it was such a terrible move. But once we're there,
Okay.
We've got to finish the job.
Ed Schultz, what's going to be the political ramifications in the talk show world of the fact that the chairman of the Federal Reserve, one of the smartest guys on economics there has been, some people say the most influential economist of the modern era, says this war was largely about oil and everybody knows it?
Well, you know, Chris, we're such a now society. How is it right now, and how am I doing? What's it mean to me and my family? And that's where Americans are. They got to go dig back into history pages and you know, really look at the run-up to this war to where we were now. Now, let's not be loose with the facts here, Jim. I want to tell you that I do believe that Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. He was an aggressor at the time, and we responded to that. So as far as the second invasion, in the second deal with Iraq, he didn't shoot down any American pilots. Sure, they were taking shots at us, but we had them contained.
Are we fighting for the American oil companies, for Mobil and Exxon? And they're making these enormous profits because of access to oil over there.
I can't believe that.
Are we over there getting killed and maimed?
Yes, we are.
Going with that.
$32 billion in profits in the first quarter. I mean, look at the money they made in the first quarter this year.
No, that's just too outrageous. I just don't buy that. And look,
it's not, Jim. It's not outrageous. When Bush came in, gas was $1.50 a gallon. Now it's well over $3 a gallon. It's affecting people's lives, and it's affecting Middle America. It's affecting the middle class. What we have failed to do as a country
drove that. Chinese demand drove
that. Let me tell you, gentlemen, one thing we can agree on. It was good that Larry Lindsey was sacked because he said this war was going to be a Benny for us. This war was going to get us cheaper gas at the pump. You know, Wolfowitz said it was going to pay for itself. These guys were pie in the sky. There is no end
A lot of
to the insanity here.
out
anyway, Jim Cramer, as always, I love to see you take sides on this side of the truth, even when it hurts. And thank you, Ed Schultz, for taking up the old Sam Beer line, fighting for Marxist analysis of history. Thank God somebody still believes it.